Manufacturers Cup then here for the Gran Turismo World Finals, and here is how the grid lines up. Top three places occupied by the top three teams in the standings. Porsche with the most to gain in this one. They line up in pole position, an opportunity for them to score 12 points. Angel and Estroza heading their charge. Mazda in second place. Ryots Kokubun is behind the wheel for that team with Subaru, and Kilian Drumont in third place. Fourth position, Mikołaj Sejak in the Nissan. Could he be the disruptor here today, with McLaren's Jay Murphy in fifth position? Lexus and Giorgio Mangano lining up P6 on the grid, and then Ferrari's Jun Hashima is in seventh place. Alongside them is Lamborghini, and for Simon Rosenberger, and you've got Honda's Valerio Gallo. 10th place, Mercedes-AMG and Noah Lanuza, the Frenchman. He was unlucky in LA, if you remember, ended up on the deck at one point. Adriano Carrazza lines up P11, and BMW Seiya Suzuki is in 12th position on the grid. So medium tyres then, 7 laps here at this Sardegna circuit. Jimmy, how do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, I mean, I foresee some sort of move down at T1. It's a long drive down to them. We do have a rolling start, which does tend to spread the field out a little bit, but I think it's long enough that the slipstream action is going to start coming into play, and someone like Kokubun maybe might have a fancier move from T1. I mean, like, to be honest, between the top three, they kind of need to keep it clean. That's what they're thinking now, because any mistake here puts them on the back foot for that grand final. Yeah,
no doubt about it. You've got to really minimise the mistakes, especially at this critical juncture. As you get later on, of course, into the evening's worth of races, there's fewer opportunities to right any of the wrong. So one mistake here could be absolutely critical. You guarantee these teams, these drivers, they're going to be leaving nothing on the table here tonight as the crowd awaits. Sold out crowd here in Fukuoka this weekend. And they'll be keen to see what is going to happen and who, of course, is going to claim the crown of the Manufacturers' Cup. Let's get ready to go racing. Race 3, then, is underway here in the Manufacturers' Cup at the Sardegna Road Circuit. Porsche leading Mazda, leading Subaru as they come down in towards the first corner. Don't think we'll see any dive bombs down in towards turn 1, but we will see a pull out of the slipstream there for Mazda, as well as Subaru coming under pressure as well. No moves being made in towards that first turn as expected, but around the sort of second part of this opening lap, we should start to see drivers who are getting their elbows out as they start getting some heat into the tyres and the brakes, crucially.
Yeah, so right now, Porsche lead from Mazda, lead from Subaru, lead from Nissan behind. Sejak behind the wheel of that Nissan. We said he's one to watch, so we'll see what he can do during this race. And again, this track's a lot of heavy acceleration zones. That Subaru's going to suffer a little bit here, I think, as they defend there from Mazda, defend from Team Subaru. Right now, not much change as everyone's keeping it nice and clean on lap one there. A stark contrast to our first race at Daytona. On board now with that GTR and Sejak.
Yeah, Sejak knows a thing or two about how to play these races calm and cool. You can see Mazda there just putting some pressure on Porsche at the sharp end of this one, coming down towards the left-hander. In the mirror there, you can see also Lexus as well. Behind the wheel of that is Giorgio Mangano at the moment. Of course, Lexus former champions as well in the Manufacturers' Cup. Let's see whether they can spring a few surprises with McLaren very close in tow. Through the sweeping left and right-hander before we come in towards the next big braking zone on this first lap into this left-hander. Lamborghini and Mercedes under investigation for a collision then on this opening lap. Let's see whether they've been deemed to be the aggressor or the innocent party.
Yeah, Gallo there making a move on the Ferrari drive up to P7. Goes a Valerio Gallo past champion, Nations Cup champion. Honda not looking so strong though this time out, but I'm sure looking to try and make as best as he can of the situation. Meanwhile, we're with Nissan and Sejak going down towards T1. Big overspeed on the Subaru that goes defensive. Drumont there keeping the car just on the line. Very nice defensive driving there, but you could get the impression that Sejak they can smell blood in the water.
Yeah, certainly can. Mercedes with a 1 second penalty then for their part in the collision with Lamborghini on that opening lap. So let's work out and pick the bones out of that one as we continue on in this race. We come through the left and the right-hander. This is Mikołaj Sejak, who we ride on board with the Polish driver, who, despite being Polish in terms of nationality, actually has a very sort of thick northern accent, which catches you off guard a little bit. And I was down chatting to him in the World Series events over the course of this year. He's a young lad, bright head on his shoulders and mature head on his shoulders, especially when it comes to racecraft as well. So let's see whether we can get that Nissan up into the podium positions and be the disruptor in this race. We come through in towards the left-hander. I have to say they're keeping it remarkably calm and tidy. Jimmy, as we get into this point now of the evening where we're race 3, we're the last chance before we go in towards the double points. Are we going to see the teams at the front maybe minimising the risks a bit more.
Yeah, you think so, but that, of course, opens them up to people behind them. I mean, a great example right now is Valerio Gallo moving through the field up to P6 now. He's already on the back of the McLaren in front, so this guy is not hanging around. And as you see now, Sejak is all over the back of a Subaru. Subaru really fast. There's a Mazda mistake there from Mazda and Kokubun. And now that has just given the cars behind an easy run down towards T1 and Porsche with Inestrosa at the wheel. A bit of breathing room. So here we go then, down towards T1. We're on board with Sejak. Looking at the back of that BRZ there, struggling in the straight line. It's now the time we'll see the Polish driver strike. Looks to the outside line, not quite close enough to anything there. But, well, these guys really getting bunched up now. You were saying they're taking it easy, so I'm not sure they are.
The defensive line there for Inestrosa. I think he got a poor run off the final corner, which compromised him down into turn one. The problem is, though, what he did was it bottlenecked up. It sort of concertinaed up through that first turn. And you can see how close they are now running nose to tail. I mean, it was close going into there, but it's certainly closer now as we come in through this first sector.
Inestrosa actually had a great run off the last corner. That Mazda's just an absolute bullet in a straight line. Had a great run off the last corner. That Mazda's just an absolute bullet in a straight line. Meanwhile, a bit further down the field. So here is a replay.
Oh, this is what happened with Mercedes and Lamborghini on the opening lap.
It's a great move.
Yeah, if you forget whether the brake pedal is brilliant.
Which he did, unfortunately. So, yeah, I can understand the penalty there. But, yeah, Inestrosa's got a weird dynamic here where he's really quick in mid-corner with his Porsche, but it seems to, up against that Mazda, which again, a bit of a bullet. It's not, sorry, just in the background there, Subaru having to defend, and then in its place goes up the inside of the Mazda. The Mazda caught napping, so Subaru and Drew Mont there just absolutely picking the pocket of Kokubun, down 2 places. Sejak also up a place, up into P3. Oh, and now they're side by side as Gallo tries to get involved as well.
Yeah, this is now all starting to kick off, isn't it? We're sort of getting towards the mid stages of this race, and all the while they start squabbling, that is music to the ears of Angel Inestrosa. He's leading the race. Half a second is the advantage. If they continue battling like this, it will give them a chance to break away.
So this is ideal, really, because the Subaru is not fast down the straight, so it's now going to be the cork in the bottle for the cars behind. So that, as you say, sort of gives Inestrosa a little bit of breathing room. On board for the Mazda now. Look at the speed of this thing down the straight. In the draft Nissan, they're both going to try and get by the Subaru. Are they going to go 3 wide? Not quite. They're thinking about it. Nissan Sejak just about being held off by the Subaru. Yeah, oh, the cutback. Sejak up into P2. Lovely stuff. And will the Mazda follow through too?
Trying to do on the inside then, and keep an eye out for Honda with Valerio Gallo, who is behind the wheel as well. We come through into the left-hander. Honda versus Subaru. Oh, Sejak's off into the gravel. Was there a bit of contact there as they came through in towards the left-hander? The upshot is the Polish driver goes tumbling down the order. He was in second place. He's now down to 7th place. And look at what it's done for Porsche and for Angel Inestrosa. He's now got a 1.6 second advantage as they all start squabbling amongst one another, and a 1 second penalty there for Toyota as well.
Valerio Gallo in that Honda started this race in 9th position. He's up to P2. A great drive there from the 2020 Nations Cup champion. Amazing run by him. No, sorry, 2021. Nearly got it right. That was me.
Long time ago. Whoa, hang on a minute. Look at Subaru on the inside. They lunge through on 2 cars, getting the better of Mazda, and then also getting the better of Honda as they now run side by side with one another through this left-hander. That was absolutely sensational for Team Subaru. A big lunge, and it's paid off beautifully. Now Lexus are ready to try and pick the pocket of another car. They get through on Mazda for 4th.
What do you say at the start of this race, Tom? They're going to take it easy? I don't think so. In the background, Toyota almost 3 wide there with McLaren and Mazda. Mazda plummeting down the order. This is horrible for their championship at the moment. So Porsche and Angel Inestrosa is just laughing all the way to the bank. 2.4 seconds now is the gap as Subaru and Honda battle it out still. There through goes Valerio Gallo. Not much really Drew Mont can do about that, can he? But here's the question. Are they going to keep squabbling, or does Gallo have the pace to catch that Porsche in front?
Well, the problem here for Drew Mont is obviously he was the cork in the bottle. So now that Valerio Gallo's gone through, you would imagine that unless he's able to keep the pace with the Honda and live with it in a straight line, he's going to start dropping back. That might pop him into the clutches of Lexus. It might pop into the clutches of McLaren. It could be even worse here for Kylian Drew Mont. But you can see what it means, though, for Porsche at the moment. If the checker flag fell now, it would be a dream start to the grand final with a 3-point advantage over Subaru, and even more over the Mazda team as well, who've dropped down into 6th place.
Maybe you've got to just manifest it. Maybe that's the trick. Angel saying, you know what, we're going to win this. There it is.
Yeah, I went for a walk with him yesterday. He was so calm, so focused, and so ready to go out and win. He said, no, we're leaving nothing on the table. We are here to win, and that is exactly what we're going to do. He was a man that was absolutely unwavering in the confidence that was underneath him, and that is proving to be absolutely justified here tonight.
Yeah, so right now, Gallo is he's kind of very slowly catching in Astroza, not by a lot. Only a couple of laps left in this race here at Sardegna, so really interesting back on this circuit. I got to admit, I thought we'd have a bit of a quiet one here, but it's been anything but that so far. First lap of the race, a BMW and Seiya Suzuki down in P7, so he's quick, but he needs to go a bit quicker than that, I think.
Yeah, the problem is their championship challenge has really fallen apart like a cheap watch, courtesy of one race, isn't it? Really, you know.
Why do you look at me when you say that?
I can see what you've got on your wrist. Across the sideline we go. McLaren versus Lexus, side by side with one another as we come down the start-finish straight in towards the left-hander as we go over the crest of the hill. Lexus on the inside, McLaren on the outside then. So Mangano versus Murphy in the Lexus versus the McLaren. Mazda and Cockerman ready to try and pick their pocket as well. That'll be damage limitation there for Cockerman as they try to ascend their way back up the order following the early dramas that they have suffered. As they flick it through in towards the right-hander, it all stays pretty stagnant in terms of the positions for now. Let's have a look at this battle then with Mazda. So this is a lunge to the inside. And I don't know if there was contact there. It just looked like Sejak outbraked himself from that angle, at least, certainly.
I think they both did. Like, there wasn't any clear moving of the car there, but I'm sure Sejak will have his own opinions on what happened there as well. But we really, I mean, for Mazda and team and Concubine, he really needs to invent something now because he's down in 6th place. He needs better points than this. Lexus and McLaren side by side. Still, that McLaren's getting put on the grass. Yep, why'd you go? And it comes back on and hits the Mazda there. Concubine into the barrier goes Team McLaren. I mean, there's a saying in karting which is outside is suicide, and he tried it there and he got shown the door, didn't he?
Yeah, not ideal at all there for the team, and good for Mazda. At least they're able to take profit of that position. We go through into the left-hander. That's where the penalty zone is, by the way. So if you do see any drivers picking up the penalties, that's where they will serve them. So here are the point standings. You can see there Porsche would be leading the way by 3 points. There will be a tie for second position between Subaru and Mazda if the checkered flag fell now. Still a fair gap to Nissan behind there as well. We now begin the last lap of action, though, and what a dream drive this has proven to be for Angel Enestrosa so far in this race. Again, he's just looked calm, controlled and comfortable, as have the entire team here tonight. They've just been absolutely unfathomable.
They have really, really good performance so far from this man, Angel Enestrosa, in that Porsche. He's had a bit of luck go his way, we must say, but he's driven very well at the front. Only about half a lap or so before Porsche claimed their second win of the evening here. And it's all going their way. I mean, here is Valerio Gallo. What a drive from Gallo. Probably one of the drives of this show so far. Up 7 places defending from Drummond in that Subaru. And I think Team Mazda picking up the bits. P5 for them. There is Enestrosa, of course, double points for our grand final. So whilst this will put Porsche in the lead going into the final, still all to play for.
Well, Mazda, their race is it's good damage limitation for them in 5th position. If they can get another place on Lexus, that'll be a very welcome result.
Oh my word! So that AMG did the same trick and came out of nowhere. They took out 2 cars. What are they doing in that AMG?
Yeah, that circuit is a bit of a legendary place for a dive bomb at this Sardegna road course, and well, no surprise that we're seeing it here, especially on the final lap, as a bit of impatience gets the better of some of the drivers. But Porsche have kept their calm, they've kept their nerve, and they've kept their cool. Angel Enestrosa is going to power Porsche to victory for the second time here in the Manufacturers' Cup. They flick it through the right-hander, and they will take the checkered flag. A penalty for Lexus means that Mazda will elevate themselves up into 4th place, and then subsequently get 2nd place in the standings into the final race. But Porsche takes victory ahead of Honda and ahead of Subaru in 3rd position. Then Mazda now up into 4th place with Lexus down into 5th, with 3 abreast there between AMG, McLaren and Nissan to the checkered flag as well. But what a fantastic drive for Team Porsche, and what confidence they will have going into the grand final.
Man, you see there, you start to get an inkling at this point if you're Angel Enestrosa. You're thinking, you know what, maybe this is the year. This is the year. Was it 2019 the last time they won an event, Porsche? I don't think it was that long ago, but it's just amazing to see.